Who is excited for the Chiefs 2023 campaign? And if you are, who's excited for watch parties? If you don't know what a watch party is, we go live for as many games as possible where we do live play-by-play. We have some drinks. We interact with the live chat for some Chiefs games. If you want watch parties again this year, subscribe and turn on notifications. Prove to us that we should do watch parties once again. Make it happen by hitting that subscribe button. Here we go. Let's jump into today's Chiefs mailbag video. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll go ahead and kick things off here. Kevin Gonzalez, any concern with Toney? Maybe make a trade for a wide receiver. I'm not majorly concerned, but I can't overlook it either because he just has not been a reliable professional. Now, I think his head has been more screwed on straight with the Chiefs than it was with the Giants. I think they've reined him in a bit. But take that part out of it. He's got injury concerns. Like, dating back to Florida, he always seems to have some kind of soft tissue injury. So, I don't think you have to force it at the wide receiver position, but other guys need to step up. Sky Moore has had a big training camp. So has Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Justin Ross looks good. The good news is you have some depth, something to monitor for sure. Amy Casey is next up. Do you think the Chiefs would trade for Mike Evans, especially with Toney and Fortson's injuries? Yeah, Jody Fortson dealing with the shoulder now. I mean, look, I just said that you don't need to force the issue, but if a Mike Evans trade was available, I certainly wouldn't turn it down. Would I give up a first-round pick for him? I don't know. He's 30. He's a rental. He's a free agent after this year. Might give up a second, though. I mean, Mike Evans in this offense would be pretty nasty, if we're being honest. Carmelo, he says, who will have to step up for Nazeeh Johnson? Yeah, I think that you look at some of the notable free agent cornerbacks here available right now. If you wanted to go add somebody, you could look at a Ronald Darby, a Casey Hayward, a Troy Hill, Cameron Dantzler, Anthony Brown. Those are some guys who are out there. The good news for the Chiefs is their depth is pretty solid. I mean, you already have Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, L'Jarius Sneed, and Joshua Williams, who are all proven. They all played and played pretty well last year. Nick Jones, you drafted in the 7th round. DiCaprio Boodle's a player they like on special teams. So I think the Chiefs actually have enough depth. I really do. I think they have enough depth at corner. Now, that doesn't mean they can't take a look at a free agent corner, but I would guess they would not at this point in time, but we'll have to wait and see how things shake out. What do you guys think? Pin comment on today's video. Do the Chiefs need to sign a cornerback? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you get hit with that ad break from YouTube, go ahead and answer the question. Do the Chiefs need a cornerback? Yes or no? Tony Fuentes, look, I want Chris Jones back, but I just don't see it. I hope Brett Veach finds a way, but it's more likely he will play, or another team will pay him. Okay, sorry about that, Tony. Well, he's under contract for this year. So even if the Chiefs don't want to pay him, unless Chris Jones demands a trade and refuses to play, he'll play here this year. But yeah, it's possible they don't want to pay him and keep him long term. Maybe they say, you know what, he's going to be 30 next year. Do we want to give him a 4-year, $100 and something million contract? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm still hopeful they do. I think he's worth it. He was the best defensive tackle in football last year. I would like to keep him around. But, yeah, Tony, we have to acknowledge it's at least a possibility that 2024 and beyond he could be gone. And, hell, who knows? Maybe they would trade him. J.D. Hollowell, what is your opinion of the O-line? Do we look to improve or take a step back? I think all things considered, it'll be similar level of play. I think at left tackle, you're probably a tick worse. Not that Orlando Brown was great, but Donovan Smith really struggled last year. I know he's playing through a foot injury, but I'm going to guess you're going to take a little bit of a step back there, but I also think you're better at right tackle. Juwan Taylor is much better than Andrew Wiley. So I think it's pretty much a net wash. I think you're better at right tackle than you are worse at left tackle, but left tackle is obviously a more important position. So that's how I would explain it. The interior is still rock solid with Toney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. So, yeah, I think it'll be similar. Uber Johnny, will we ever get a number 2 defensive end to push on the other side of Jones? You look at the defensive line here. I mean, they actually invested a little bit defensive end this offseason. They signed Charles Omenihu. They drafted Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Maybe you mean a second defensive tackle because Derek Nottie keeps making his way back into the starting lineup. Keandre Coburn was drafted. We'll see. I'll put it this way, though. If Chris Jones isn't playing, this group looks a lot worse. I mean, that's just a fact. Without Chris Jones, this Chiefs defensive line is below average. I'm comfortable saying that. With him, it's above average. He makes that big of a difference. So I would like to see that deal get done, but we're still in a holding pattern. Patrick Mahomes is the Chris Jones of offense and of this football team. And if you want to get a jersey for 30% off, we have a few left in stock. Pick one up right now at chatsports.com/Mahomes. Take advantage of this deal while it is still available. Pick one up today. Ed Griffin, will we bring back Dunlap? I'm open to it. I like Carlos Dunlap. He gave you 4 sacks last year. Gives you some depth at that defensive end position. I still think there's room for one more body there. So, yeah, I'd be open to it. Will it happen? Who knows? Tylene, if the Chiefs win back-to-back chips, what will that mean for Mahomes' legacy? Well, I think he's already a Hall of Famer. I know it sounds crazy, but I think if he had to retire today for whatever reason, I think he would get in. I mean, think about it. He's got 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 5 AFC Championship appearances, and first-team All-Pro multiple times. That's getting you into the Hall of Fame. So I think he's already in. But if they were to win it this year, the Chiefs will have won 3 of 5. That's dynastic. That would be one of the best dynasties of all time. I mean, it would mean a lot. It would definitely close the gap in terms of trying to chase GOAT status. He wouldn't be there, but it would close that gap for sure. KC Kingdom, is there any chance Brett Veach would trade Chris Jones? If he does, what would he want in return? It's a good question. I think he would want 2 first-round picks, personally. I think that's what he would ask for. You look at the numbers from last year. I mean, he was dominant. 15.5 sacks, 29 quarterback hits, couple of forced fumbles. I thought he had his best year ever as a run stopper as well. And quite frankly, you're not the same defensive team without him. Not just defensive line, defensive team. So, excuse me, I think the Chiefs would ask for 2 first-round picks. Now, would they get that? He's 29 years old. They'd maybe have to settle for a first and a second, or a first and like 2/3 or something like that. But they would ask for a lot if Jones demanded a trade. Now, I don't think they're interested in trading Chris Jones. He wants to be here. They want him here. They just got to figure out the money stuff. But in a hypothetical world where he did ask for a trade, I think they would ask for an absolute ton. Now, fill in the blank for us. There's a blank % chance the Chiefs trade Chris Jones. 2%? 3%? You can't say 0 after they traded Tyreek Hill last year. I mean, it's at least a small possibility. I think it's smaller than we ever thought of even Tyreek Hill getting traded, just because you still had Mahomes and Kelsey on the offense, because without Chris Jones, your defense has major questions. But I'll go 3%. 3% chance it gets traded. I don't think it happens. I think it's very unlikely, but can't sit here and say it's not at least possible. Appreciate all your questions here on the Chiefs Report. If you want to interact with me more on social media, you can do so on Twitter at HGramNFL, Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it these days, at HGramNFL. Hit me up over there. DMs are always open.